I was in Myrtleford when it happened, just a few kilometres away. I remember the exact moment I got the alert. My stomach dropped. I've been staying in Porepunkah for over 10 years. It's not just a place to me, it's home. Every year I take my family to Mount Buffalo. We hike the trails, breathe in the alpine air and watch the sun melt into the valley. It's sacred, but now it feels tainted. This story isn't just another headline, it's personal. Because the man at the centre of it, Dezi Freeman, wasn't some stranger from the city. He lived just up the track. And what happened on August 26, 2025, changed everything. To understand how we got here, we need to go back, not just weeks or months, decades. Dezi Freeman was born Desmond Christopher Philby in 1969. He grew up in rural Victoria in a household that didn't trust the government, didn't believe in conventional schooling and didn't follow the rules. From a young age, Dezi was different. He didn't just question authority, he rejected it. Teachers described him as defiant, withdrawn and deeply suspicious. He'd disappear into the bush for hours, sometimes days, returning with stories about survival and sovereignty. By the time he was a teenager, Dezi had already begun shaping the belief system that would define his life. He immersed himself in fringe legal theories, survivalist manuals and conspiracy forums. He believed the government was illegitimate, that laws only applied if he consented, and that he could declare himself a sovereign citizen. He refused to get a driver's license, pay taxes, or acknowledge police authority. At 17, he legally changed his name to Freeman, a symbolic act of rebellion. As an adult, Dezi settled in Porepunkah, on a remote property surrounded by dense bushland and caves. He lived in a converted bus with his partner Marley and their 2 children. He worked as a professional landscape photographer, using that income to sponsor Marley's immigration from the Philippines. Locals who interacted with him described a man who was deeply committed to his family, but also deeply paranoid. He homeschooled his children, taught them bushcraft, and kept them isolated from mainstream society. He claimed swimming and driving were part of their curriculum. He believed he was protecting them from a corrupt world. But the cracks were visible. In 2018, Dezi appeared on A Current Affair in a segment titled Bogans from Mount Buffalo. The episode documented a bitter feud between Dezi and his neighbours. He accused them of harassment, revving dirt bikes, chainsaws, and making noise to torment his family. He filmed everything, sending footage to producers over 4 months. The segment painted a picture of a man at war with his community. Dezi welcomed the fines issued to his neighbours, but called the police terrorist thugs. He believed the entire town was conspiring against him. His legal battles escalated. In 2020, he was pulled over for speeding and refused a drug test. He filmed the encounter, drove off, and later compared police to Nazis in court. He claimed he was acting in self-defense and under extreme duress, saying the sight of a cop was like an Auschwitz survivor seeing a Nazi soldier. He launched a Supreme Court challenge after being convicted of using a phone while driving and refusing a drug test. The case was dismissed and Dezi shouted, "Shame on you," at the judge. In 2021, he was arrested at an anti-lockdown protest outside Myrtleford Magistrates Court. He attempted to arrest a magistrate and police officers, claiming they lacked grant of power. He also tried to privately prosecute former Premier Daniel Andrews for treason, a case that was swiftly thrown out. His legal filings were riddled with pseudo-law jargon and threats. He referred to police as friggin' Nazis and satanic filth. Behind the scenes, things were unravelling. His partner Marley reportedly suffered anxiety after childbirth. Dezi claimed the loss of his driver's licence pushed the family to breaking point. He believed he was being targeted by the state, by his neighbours, by the system. And he was preparing for war. On August 26, 2025, 10 Victoria police officers arrived at Freeman's compound on Rainer Track to execute a search warrant. It was related to historical sex offences and a firearms prohibition order. What happened next was described by police as an ambush. Freeman allegedly opened fire with multiple weapons, including a homemade shotgun and rifles. Detective leading Senior Constable Neal Thompson, 59, and Senior Constable Vadim Waart, 35, were killed instantly. A third officer was shot in the lower body and airlifted to Melbourne. Freeman fled into the bush, armed and dangerous. His partner and children later presented themselves at a police station. Authorities confirmed they were never held hostage. The manhunt began immediately. Over 300 officers, drones, helicopters, and even ASIO were mobilised. A 7.5k no-fly zone was established. Mount Buffalo National Park was closed. The trails were silent. The air felt heavier. Freeman is an experienced bushman. He knows the terrain intimately. Survival experts say he could remain hidden for weeks, living off the land using caves and elevation to avoid detection. And that's what makes this so chilling. He's not just running. He's disappearing into the mountain we thought we knew. For those of us who've called Porepunkah home, who've hiked those ridges and watched the sun set over the valley, this tragedy cuts deep. The mountain we loved now carries the echo of gunfire. It's hard to explain how that changes things, how it stains the soil, how it lingers. Dezi Freeman is still out there, somewhere in the caves, the ridges, the shadows of the bush he knows better than anyone. And Midnight Narratives will be here when he's found. Next time, we'll uncover what happens when the sovereign ghost of Mount Buffalo is finally caught. Before we close tonight's story, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the unimaginable loss suffered by the families of Detective leading Senior Constable Neal Thompson and Senior Constable Vadim Waart. These men gave their lives in the line of duty, protecting the community we all call home. Their courage, their sacrifice, and their service will not be forgotten. To their loved ones, to the officers still recovering, and to every member of Victoria Police affected by this tragedy, our thoughts and prayers are with you. We stand with you in grief, in solidarity, and in remembrance. This story is far from over, but for now, we pause to honour those who didn't make it home. Stay safe, stay kind, and hold your people close.